Try HelloFresh UK to get 60% off your first box, 25% off for 2 months, and to of course help support this channel. Link is down in the description. Thank you for your support. Well, with our league position very comfortable and cup football and 2 games a week returning from today, we've got to make a big decision. Do we really want to push and try and win a trophy, or do we want to focus on the league? Let's go and see what we decide as this season reaches the midway point. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 22 of the head coach with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Hiroshima in the last 16 of the Japanese League Cup. We kick off that with the first leg, 2 teams that are separated by just 5 points in a J1 league. And then we go away to Kyoto, a tough game against the top half opposition, as the fixture list really starts to pile up now. We've got this very weird top-heavy season in Japan, which is only really filled out later on if you do progress in a cup. So this becomes quite an important game for us today. And of course, is by far the biggest test we've had in this competition so far. So if you want to see how we manage to look after the squad and whether we can get through to the quarterfinals, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've also had a very solid start to the league season, but it's incredibly tight. 5 points away from 10th place, but we're definitely going to get the mid-table finish. And again, the additions from the director of football have certainly made this squad stronger. We go and have a look at the season preview and what's happened since we've signed those players. We've actually moved up to 15th, but a lot closer to a lot of the other sides. We're still overperforming at the minute, and we're still definitely doing a job to match our rivals, but you can see that there's a lot of clubs that are performing very differently to the pre-season expectations. To show that yet further, let's go and have a look at the schedule and see what's been happening since you were last here, because we played 5 games. And to be fair, we did say after the Kashiwa and Urawa games that we've got an easier run of fixtures coming up, and it has proven that way. But once we've got to 2 games a week again, you can see we're just starting to run out of steam. And my worry is now going up to the 2nd of June, we have got, 5 games in 14 days, or 13 days in fact. It's not a good schedule for us. We've then got to prioritise the cups, but luckily we've drawn a semi-pro team in the All Japan Cup, which will give us a little bit of relief, I hope. So let's have a look at what's happened since you were last here. We won 3-0 at pre-season title favourites Kashima. It looks like their rotation was a bit different to ours. You can see in this game we went for fresh legs, so we took out our star target man and brought in Agawa. We also missed a penalty, which inexplicably our centre-half took, but a really good performance. We were 3 up at the break, and we comfortably won the game. In a routine home win we probably expected against Gamba, Osaka. We were quite fortunate again at 2 up that just as they turned back into the game, they got a silly red card. We were 3 up by the break, it was game over. We beat our rivals 2-0, Yokohama, Mochizuki and Fukai with 1 in each half. Really good performance, really good result. But then we had 2 games where we just started to run out of steam. You may have noticed in some of these games prior, particularly Osaka and Yokohama, I wasn't actually making subs. I was trying to change my strategy a bit, because often I make the 5 subs and then have a lot of tired players. So I was trying to pick an 11 for each game and rotate the squad a little bit. Hasn't really worked out any better if I'm being honest, because against Kawasaki, we managed to blow a 2-goal lead. We struggled to hold on, we ran out of steam, and there in that game, I was forced to make changes because we were just struggling, and it ended up costing us. But if it wasn't for a goalkeeping error, we probably would have won 2-1. Against Osaka last Wednesday, a 1-1 draw at home. Again, pegged back late on, but you can see there were a few mitigating circumstances in this game. 3 injuries, one of them after we'd made all of our subs. So we were basically playing with 10.5 for the last 10 minutes. And it ended up being problematic because Luis Vasquez scored the equaliser. But the positive I take out of this spell again is Shunki Mochizuki. He's becoming a superstar. The problem, he's now got an injury. And if we go and have a look at the medical centre today, it's one of those again where we've not got any big injuries, but we keep having little ones, which means that there's people either not fit or people who have just returned. So you can see Lara and Vitalucci not fully match sharp, which then just increases the risk of yet more injuries. Now we've got Moraes out, we've got Fitzwater out, and we've got Mochizuki out. Fitzwater, the only one that's a longer term injury of the 3. But let's go and move on to the fixtures because it's two big games today. You can see that we're doing okay in the cup. We've got to the last 16. And I know that most of them are still in, but a couple of the big boys are out now. You look at the two teams above us in the league, Yokohama and Shimizu. They're facing each other in the last 16. Kyoto and Kobe, two of the top half sides in this league, they're facing each other as well. And that's the same for us and Hiroshima. So potentially this draw could open up a bit after this round. We've got to do our job and get through though. And the home leg, the first leg of this tie, is definitely what we've got to prioritise. And with injuries, that's not quite so easy. So let's go and get through to the fixtures. Let's see what side we can put out. We've got a league game in literally 2.5 days. A big away game against the 9th place side. So I'm going to have to make some big decisions. We've had a week off before this one, so we've got a little bit of fitness we can rely on. But let's go and pick our 11. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, part of the problem with the League Cup is that you go back to 4 foreign players allowed rather than 5. We've also got a few injuries and we've got to rotate a couple as well. So this is what we've gone for today. And I feel it may harm us at the weekend. So there are 2 or 3 in here. I'm looking at Perales, Suzuki and Sakuragawa up front, where we might have to make changes later on just to preserve legs. But then the rotation options we've got, they're not great if I'm being honest with you. I've decided to give a complete rest today to both the goalkeeper, who has had a couple of injuries and a couple of poor games recently. So Diogenes will come back in for the cup tie. And also centre midfielder Fakai, who drops down to the bench. Moraes is injured, Mochizuki's injured, and Fitzwater obviously got injured last week too. That means we're a little bit weak in defence. We're a little bit weak on the bench, but otherwise, I'm fairly confident with where we are. So this is the squad we've gone for. It is Diogenes coming in goal. Ueno returns after a knock at centre-half. Chiba makes a rare start because of injuries, and Perales is in the middle of them. We've got Bushari and Suzuki, the wing-backs, with Lara, again returning from injury alongside Sada in midfield. He's been brilliant recently. 18 years of age, professional personality. And I tell you what, he is one of the most consistent players you will ever see. Vitalucci is playing in the number 10, again just playing well at the moment. And Agawa is the man in for the injured Mochizuki. He is alongside our big target man up front. They're the two that give us plenty of physicality. But it does mean that our skipper, Mizuki Ando, who I've had a tumultuous relationship with this season, is now back on the bench for this one. A loss of determination from the squad for sure. No centre-halves on the bench, but Sada can do it if we're desperate. So let's just go and get into it and see how we get on. We've had to rotate a bit, and I am going to try and manage the squad later in this game. But to do that, we're going to need to be a few goals up. Can we do it? Let's go and find out. Well, 2 changes for our visitors, who appear to have gone a bit stronger overall than us, but they are resting one of their star players, and a man who, when we faced this side with Gifu in the lower leagues, was the difference between us. Isaac Mbenza is the man who drops out, and that gives us a little bit more security defensively because he's a superstar, and with Shiba at left centre-half, I would have been worried. We are, of course, still on that 5-game unbeaten run, but the last couple of them, we've been clinging on to draws late on, so I'm not hugely confident going into this, and fitness may be an issue, though Bushari nicks it early. He finds Agawa, not quite got the fresh legs there. He's another one who's had a lot of injuries this year, had a big one when we joined. And he's not really found top form yet, which is a bit frustrating. It's a wasted opportunity there, but Sada wins it back. Agawa again. Can he make something this time? Gets down the right. Chance to cross. Men in the middle. Lara's won. It's a great bit of defending in fairness. And it's headed away by Chiba, but doesn't get anywhere. And that's the liability back there. Into midfield. Kuwabara finds Mitsuta. Wide again, and now they've got an overlap. This could be problematic. Chiba, not a natural on the left side, to be fair. He's having to do a job for us here. Back to the edge to Fukuoka. He goes inside to Homa. Out wide to Nakano. We had the best chance. We don't want to concede from this. We should have scored at the other end a minute ago. And now the rotation has come back to get us. Ueno returns to the team after injury. He's apparently made the mistake. We had a problem with the left centre-half. He lost his header at the start. And we're giving the ball away cheaply, though Vitalucci goes straight from the kickoff. Wide to Bushari. Can we have a crazy game? Gets to the byline. Chips in. There's the target man. Hits the post. Almost level within 20 seconds. Chiba goes wide to Suzuki. He cuts in on his right, which is a bit of a problem for us here. And Shiba gets it wide to him again. Good ball to Sakuragawa. Puts it in for 1-1. But the flag's up. It's going to be disallowed. And no VAR in this competition. It stays 0-1. But I've got to be honest, we've probably had the better of this game. And just given away one glorious chance. You can see Shimizu winning at home against our rivals. Leaders Vissel Kobe 2-0 down. This draw's really opening up. And if we don't find a way to win it, I will be a bit gutted. Let's encourage the lads because it's the usual suspects who are struggling. Agawa not fit. Ueno and Chiba at centre-half as well. The players who are lacking match sharpness. The same with Lara in midfield. It's been an even game. It's been a poor game. It's not been very attacking given our recent form, but this has been coming the last couple of games. We're running out of steam a bit, and it's another one from a set piece that nearly causes a goal. Ueno gets it away off the line. Back in the midfield though. And here they are on the edge. Agawa gives it straight away. Get me Mochizuki back fit, please. He's been the saviour in the last couple of games when we've been poor. And not having him is a big problem at the minute. I might even have to bring the skipper on. Bushari gets a foot there but can't keep the ball. Kunil chips into Mitsuta. Shiba is completely lost. Oh, the injuries are costing us today. Agawa is really struggling in Mochizuki's position. And even if we'd had one of Moraes and Fitzwater fit, we'd probably be in a better nick. I mean, they are the worst two players on the pitch, aren't they? Chiba and Agawa. Chiba can't mark and it's showing. And Agawa's just not fit. Real shame this. We've got to push on in the second half. Let's see if we can get something out of the game. Or at least make the tie a bit closer. Because then you never know away from home. Asada picks it up in the holding role. Is still one of the best performers here as we've given it away again. This is why we stopped playing the shorter passing and now we've started doing it again. Don't know why. Sakuragawa gets away down the left. Holds it up well. Proper target man there. Sada to Chiba. Do not give it away again. Back to Perales. Sada. Perales again. We just don't look like we can break through and now we're 2 down. They're just sitting in a shape as Bashari puts in Agawa. Straight at the keeper. It's a great move again. But this is the difference. It's the ruthless edge at the minute. And Mochizuki had it. And the defenders were preventing it at the other end. It's not happening now. Suzuki puts in the corner kick. Headed away as far as Sada. Chance to shoot. It's blocked. Well charged down. They've got a free kick for offside. What? Don't really understand that. You can see from the stats, even game. But we've given away goals from both shots on target, which is inexcusable. Right, I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm not hugely thrilled with the backup options we've got, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Agawa's struggling. I'm not going to bring on the skipper Ando. I'm going to go for Ishida because you know the vendetta I've got. Lara again is building his fitness, but no confidence. I feel like I might need to save him for the weekend, but in what circumstances? I might put Sada at centre-half, but he can't really do it. He's no better than Shiba, but he's not very good at the actual position. Can any of the wide men play centre-half? I don't think they can. So this could be a bit of a problem for us, and this is where the injuries become an issue. Suzuki can't really do it either. Let's just make the other subs. Suzuki off for Yaneda. We'll change both midfielders. We'll go Lara up for Fakai, and we'll go Morishima up for Sada. 4 changes made. With an hour gone, we're 2-0 down. In what has been a frustrating even game, we've had more of the chances, we've had a lot more corners and attacking set pieces, but we've not made anything of it. And as we reach the final 15, Vitalucci will get a rest, Ishida will go back into the number 10, and Ando will go up front. I don't like him, I don't want him to be captain, and I don't really want him at the club long term, but he could change my mind today. As the corner's up to the back post, knocked down for Yaneda. Gets underneath it, blazes it over the bar. Was a great opportunity, but it stays 2-0. I don't know how we've come out of this game with a comfortable defeat, honestly. I don't really know what to do with the lads. I've been encouraging them, but we've had the better of the game. We've just not been able to take them. Can we get a lifeline in the tie, though? Ishida with a corner. Headed away as far as Morishima. Yaneda, got a runner in Ishida. Cuts back on his right foot. Chance to shoot. Does just that. Over the bar. Do you know what? I'm actually quite optimistic. If we've got everyone fit and we're at our best in the second leg, I wouldn't be shocked if we got through still. Because there's been opportunities here. But we've got to defend better, which means we need someone fit. And we've got to attack and finish better, which means we need Mochizuki as well. As Perales picks the ball up in the centre circle. Can we just get the goal? Give us a bit of comfort in this tie. Get them nervy. Ueno finds Bashari. He's been very good, but he now won't be fit for Saturday as he gets to the byline. Chance to cross. Good punch by the keeper. Morishima's got Yaneda out wide. He gets to the byline. His chance to cross. Finds the target man. Goes back to Yaneda. Into Ishida. You've not missed that. Given us a corner. What a block if it's deflected. And Ishida will take it. It's turning into one of those days at the minute. Ishida's corner's up. Sakuragawa loses it. And we somehow lose the game 2-0. A greater expected goals, twice the amount of shots, 5 times the amount of corners. And we've lost 2-0. That is one of those days, I think you call it. We'll say we're not happy. We'll hope we've got a few back at the weekend. And we're going to have to respond. Maybe the focus now needs to be the league. Let's go and get through and see how we get on Saturday. And more importantly, see how many of these are fit, because there's a few that are going to be problematic. And now we've got our target man on a goal drought. Has not scored in his last 5 after 12 in 12 prior to that. Let's criticise his form. Don't worry, the goals will come. And on Saturday, fingers crossed they will. Well, it's fitness test time, and the big news is not good. Shunki Mochizuki has failed a fitness test and will not feature in any form today. We've also got a few new staff coming in the youth and reserve teams, but nothing worth really talking about. So let's go and get to the big news of today, which is the game. We go away to Kyoto, who, to be fair to them, are having a good season. They're in 9th when their pre-season odds were with us to be a bottom half mid-table team. So let's go and get through the tactical meeting. They're playing a 4-4-2. We're going to want to make some changes, of course. So let's go and get as strong as we can. You can see both Bushari and the target man are tired. I've got big decisions to make. I'll be back in a moment with them. Well, despite the fixture congestion, there's a couple of enforced gambles because of a lack of squad depth and because of injuries. There are also a couple where I've tried to be sensible to mix things up. So this is the squad we've ended up with today. I think the best news we can probably take is that Moraes is fit, which means we've now got a fully competent back 3, despite the fact he's not in his best form. He joins Perales and Ueno in the back 3. Broderson returns in goal. Sekiguchi, a natural replacement for Bashari. Not a great player, but he's a solid enough backup. Suzuki keeps his place, as does Lara, but Fakai comes in back into midfield after his rest in midweek. He replaces Sada, who hasn't had a game off for a while. Then Ishida is in for Vitalucci, who is not really fully fit for this game. And I've had to stick with the same front too. The only difference is Saito is fit enough to be on the bench, and he's a proper target man, so if we need to, we can bring him on for Sakuragawa. It doesn't really leave us with many rotation options up front. I'm hoping with Mochizuki returning to training in 3 days, he might be fit for Wednesday, certainly for Saturday. And as you can see again, they're 2 very winnable games at home. So this one, we can pick up a point or just something to keep the league unbeaten run going. It will be a real bonus for us. We've obviously had the chat with Sakuragawa about his goal drought. Well, let's hope it works today. Into the second game away at Kyoto. And this one, a bit of a test for us. Well, Kyoto either rotated heavily in midweek or are rotating now because they've made 6 changes. I'm looking at the numbers of the players that have come in. So number 5 at centre half, number 3 at left back. I'm thinking they might have just rotated in the week. They've got the number 8 coming in, the number 7 coming in. Yeah, I think they've got stronger rather than weaker. It is Chris Castro in charge of them. We want to prove a point. Most of you are fit and most of you are first team. So go and show me what you can do. Into the first half, away at Kyoto, and all I want is a result. Don't care whether it's ugly, don't care whether it's a draw, to be honest. With the 2 home games we've got coming up, we should pick up wins. So let's try and get something here as a bonus. As Ishida goes back to Moraes, 8 minutes on the clock. We're keeping the ball okay. And Fakai finds Ishida. We've broken through them well, and Agawa's in. Had a stinker in the last game. Not having a stinker in this one. First chance, first goal. That'll give him huge confidence. Not really been able to get going since returning. Scored a couple of goals, but not been consistent. Ishida in with a little bit of magic on the through ball. Moraes heavily involved in it as well. And Agawa gets his goal. That's a positive start. And so far, we've been the better side. It stands we're up to second, which is remarkable. With the 2 games coming up at home, you would feel confident we might be near the top at the end of this week. As Kuruma gets it into Suzuki, that is a great save from Broderson. Thought it might have been offside, which it wasn't given. That is wonderful goalkeeping. Kuruma will take the corner though. The danger has not gone. Into the back post, header in. Good challenge from Perales. Suzuki with a flying diving header, which I apologise, really distracted me. Matsuda gets it down the right. Chance to put it in the box. No, don't be a penalty. We've got away with one with Suzuki there. Looked a foul, looked like the inevitable was coming, but it didn't. And with half an hour gone, we're still 1-0 up. Well, we return as 2 minutes have been added on at the end of the first half, and hopefully we can hold on for it, but it doesn't look good here. Great move. Good goal. A good team with a great flowing move. They caught us out. They pushed us all over to their right flank. We got overloaded, and then 2 passes switched the play. And we were 1-on-1. We couldn't handle it. We concede on the stroke of half time. It's becoming a bit of a pattern of this season. We've seen it in all of the last 3 league games. We've taken an early lead and then been pegged back to a draw. Hopefully we can still get the draw in this one because Kyoto are turning the screw. But when we have these more difficult fixtures, which I'll always show on camera, this is where we're getting caught out because we've not got the fitness for 90 minutes. As Suzuki gets the ball into Agawa. Good turn. Great finish. What a goal from Agawa. He's found his form today all right. Suzuki laid it into him. He had plenty to do. And the target man, Sakaragawa, is really struggling. I'm going to take him off here, protect him for the week. He'll come off for Saito. We've got a few on yellow cards, so Suzuki will get a rest for Yaneda. And we'll leave the rest a few more minutes, but there are going to have to be changes here to manage the game. But every time we've done that in recent weeks, we've conceded goals, as Yaneda gets it at left back. Into Moraes. Great to have him back in the team. Finds Fukai. Up to Ishida. Through ball towards Saito, who's not going to get there. It's not the best, if I'm being honest with you. The goalkeeper can play out for them. And now we've invited the pressure on again. Tanaka will carry it forward. Matsuda. Into Hara. Wide to Tanaka. Matsuda again. Been a threat all game. He's beaten the fullback with ease. Back to Hara. And it's 2-2. That's where you miss Bashari because Sekiguchi just isn't the same physically. You can see he was breezed past there. Matsuda knocked the ball and ran. And now we're going to make a couple more changes. We have got real struggle in midfield. It's going to be Lara off for Morishima. He's nervous, but he's the fitter. No, I'm going to go Sada. I'm going to have to go for it. We'll switch those 2 around. We'll also go Ishida off on a yellow for Vitalucci. We'll leave the last one a few more minutes because really, we've got a nervous youngster and a youngster who cost us in midweek. It's not great options off the bench. 2-2 I would take. We've got an attacking throw on the right with Sekiguchi. There's a 1-2 with Saito. Fukai finds it again. Sekiguchi back to Sada, the sub. Into Yaneda. Cuts on his right. What a save onto the bar. And it's cleared away. The opportunity goes begging again. We've had a constant attacking threat in this game, which is a positive. It's been a really good game, actually. And unlike the one in midweek, we've dominated the ball. We've not got anything to show for it. My options now are Ueno off for Shiba or Morishima on for Fukai. I think I'm going to do the latter because I don't want to change the defence. It worries me. We can do that in midweek. If we're playing those bottom teams at home and we can get 2 or 3 up, then maybe Shiba can have a run out. But for now, Omato's given the ball away. Agawa on a hat-trick has nicked it. He's 1-on-1. He's the man you'd want the chance to fall to. What a gift in the 87th minute. Kyoto's defender lays it straight into the path of Agawa with an underhit pass. He takes it through and makes no mistake. And we are now against 10 men because I think they've just had a man off injured, having made all their subs. As Morishima gets down the right. Ball into the box is poor. Cleared away as far as Ueno. He can find his man down the line. Sekiguchi can't get there, but he does recover the ball still. Inside is Ueno. He finds Morishima. Up to Saito. Vitalucci. Yaneda's running over on the left. Great overlap. In he goes straight at the keeper. Do we keep pushing or do we time waste here? That's the question. Long ball forward. I might not get the choice. It's down to Toyokawa. He gets down the right and he's got space to run into. Oh, what are you doing, man? Morishima, I bought him on nervous. And he's just committed a stupid foul. And put us under huge pressure late on. What are you doing? Let's get Vitalucci back into centre midfield because it's the only choice we've got. Don't think either of the strikers can do it. I mean, this is not really ideal for this time of the game, is it? I'm just going to drop Vitalucci in one. Why are you playing on? It seems to happen after red cards all the time. Saito will go into the number 10. Agawa will go up front. It's far from ideal at this point, but needs must. We'll put the wing-backs on defend. We'll put Sada as a centre midfielder on defend or a playmaker. Yeah, we'll go defend on that side, support on that side. We're going to time waste all the time. We're not going to run at the defence more. We're going to slow the pace down. We're going to hold our shape. And we're just going to try and see out whatever minutes are left, because this is not ideal. And Hiroshima has really let the team down. We've dropped to counter-attacking, and so far, we've seen out the 6 minutes pretty comfortably. That is a huge win in the circumstances. Big shout out to Agawa, who has shown massive mental strength after his performance in midweek. Morishima is going to be out for a while now. He's lucky we need to put homegrown players on the bench. And this has been a really good result. A very decent performance too. With 2 easier home games coming up, exactly the sort of result we needed. Let's go and have a look at the schedule, see when we're going to be back. Well, that late win keeps the 6-game unbeaten run going in the league, despite the cup disappointment in midweek. We're also the top scorers in the J-League. So, for those of you who have always said over the years, yeah, the head coach is good, but you always set up quite cautiously and defensively. It's just because of the teams I'm at. Gifu were the highest scorers in promotion last year, and Yokohama, now the highest scorers in the J1 League. I'm an attacking manager when I'm given the resources. Let's go and have a look at the games, because I'm kind of torn between two here. I'm definitely going to come back for deadline day and Gifu. There is no doubt about that. But do I come back for one in between now and then? I'm thinking about the second leg of Hiroshima and Kobe, but there's a month between the games and it'll just take ages. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get through that. We should win the All Japan Cup. We'll probably lose the League Cup. We'll wait and see. But then we'll come back for Gifu, deadline day, and maybe Sapporo. Will be an interesting one as Gifu now, unfortunately, are starting to slide. They're 15th, but look at the positives. They've got a 10-point cushion to the relegation playoff. If you want to see how we get on against our former club, though, and what our director of football does in a mid-season transfer window, was always the bit that was harder at Gifu, particularly last season. So let's see what Sean Holmes does this year. If you're looking forward to finding out, and you did enjoy this topsy-turvy episode, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Have you noticed the red card curse returning since the FM update yesterday? Let me know down in the comments, but I think now we've been forced our hand. We've got to prioritise the league. Yes, I'd like to win a trophy, but the league arguably looks the most likely now. With the fixtures thinning out after the next week, we can get through these 2 very winnable home games. We've really got no excuse after the mid-season break. No more than 1 fixture a week, and a squad that, when we've got our first 11 out, is well capable of handling that. If you want to stay up to date and see how the rest of the season goes, though, please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back with this one in a couple of days' time after the Southend save returns tomorrow. It's a huge episode in that one, following our big triple header yesterday. And if you missed our youth development special on Sunday, you can find that and the Southend playlist up in the eye above. There's also links there to the Twitch channel where we'll be live tonight, and a football podcast with regular content too. A quick thank you again to our partner HelloFresh. You can find a link if you're in the UK down in the description for 60% off your first box and to help support the channel. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again in a couple of days' time. It's another reunion with our former club, but this time, hopefully, we'll have some transfer additions.